everyone. My name's Chance Unger, and I do mortgages for a living, but that's irrelevant.
Yeah. Well, you're already in the seat, so it's not like you're really able to go anywhere.
That's right.
The whole point of this series is for you all to get to know everyone in the Tampa Bay area on a little bit more personal level.
So you hear that? Even if you're an inmate, you can get a house.
Give us a call. We'll take care of you.
So why don't you jump in the passenger seat and join me for Carpool Conversations.
So why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm Joshua Wright. I work for Fidelity National Title of Florida. My personal territory is the Brandon Riverview area, but we've got offices all over. So any of your title needs, we can close in Tampa, Carrollwood, Brandon, Riverview, St. Pete, Clearwater. You name it, we can do it.
Yeah. So, and title, I mean, I think a lot of people, when they're thinking about buying a house, title is probably sometimes in like the last thing they're thinking about. They're probably thinking immediately a realtor, and then a mortgage guy.
Right.
And it's like, well, guess what? You need title. Like, I mean, think about all the services and everything else that like a title person would provide.
Yeah. I mean, well, we've got your money. So that's kind of how that works. You guys, when you send in your escrow deposits and things like that, all your closing costs, all that is collected by us. So knowing who that is and their reputation is very important. And at the end of the day, it's actually supposed to be the consumer that picks the title company, but most of the time the consumer doesn't know, doesn't really care, and the realtor is the one that directs the listing realtor here. The title company, we're like the behind the scenes heroes, really. Especially, which not me, because it's more my team, and that's what's important, is that you have a strong team behind you. We had one the other day where we almost had to go up to the jail. We thought we were going to have to go up to the county jail to have the paperwork signed, because that's where the person was. So you just never know what you're gonna run into.
So you hear that? Even if you're an inmate, you can get a house.
Give us a call. We'll take care of you.
Yeah. So what got you essentially into title?
Man, so my work experience has been kind of sporadic. I did out of high school. In high school, I was in a lot of service industries. I worked at a bunch of different companies, Panera Bread, and I worked at a car wash and a gym, and so I was always around people, and I enjoyed being around people. I worked in the mall at American Eagle, of course. I think we all did a stint in one of those stores.
Don't even get me started.
But I spent a lot of time there and getting around people, and so out of high school, I joined the Navy, and I was in the Navy for 8 years. I deployed a couple times.
Hold on, Navy?
Yeah.
Best branch in the whole armed forces. I just want you all to know that. I'm Navy as well, too.
Yeah, yes, I didn't know that.
That's what I'm talking about, Shipmate. Yes!
Yeah, I spent 8 years. I deployed a couple times. I was on the USS Enterprise.
So was I!
I thought you looked familiar.
Get out of here!
What years were you there?
I was there from 03 to 08.
Yeah!
No
really?
way!
I got there. Well, I would have got there in I actually would have got there right as you were leaving. I was there in 09. But you were there. What was your rate?
I was a brown shoe. I was an Airedale. So I was
you were air crew.
Yeah, I was in the air wing. Yeah, and we would fly on there.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I got to be a part of the final 2 deployments that the ship took, and I worked for the commanding officer, and I was a part of the decommissioning ceremony and all that. So it was definitely a super awesome experience. And from there, I got sent to Hawaii to work at Paycom, and I did a couple different jobs, but I ended my career there with the director of intelligence at US Paycom. So I got to work alongside him, and probably one of the coolest experience was at the retirement ceremony for this admiral who had been in for what I considered forever, because it was longer than I had been alive. And he asked me to relieve him of the watch, and it was just the coolest thing, to be on the USS Missouri and to be a part of such a prestigious ceremony like that, and then to be the one to salute the admiral on his way out the door, and definitely an awesome experience. So,
totally. So do you feel like some of the experiences and the culture and that like camaraderie coming out of that carries into your work ethic now?
I mean, of course, that I got in there out of high school. Yeah. So I had no clue who I was. I mean, I still don't know if I really do. But at the time, I was just very absorbent. I was like a sponge. I just wanted to get in and learn as much as I could and have a lot of fun. And they put a lot of values in you. I'm always on time to everything. I'm never late. Being late gives me anxiety. so I hate being late and things like that. My work ethic, you just get the job done no matter what.
Right.
And then you know, you work with so many people from so many different backgrounds and places and countries. I mean, we had people from all over the world on our ship, and you deployed all these different places, and you meet these other, you know, people of other countries, and you know, you bring all that with you everywhere you go. You know, now I'm very comfortable and familiar around anybody, you know, so I definitely think that you do bring that with you, and anytime you have a chance to work with a veteran, I would say please take it, you know, because you know, there's a lot of guys out there that sacrificed a whole lot, even more than me, you know, and anytime we have an opportunity to help those guys out and to give back to them what they gave to us, you know, we should always take it.
So where, like, born and raised in Florida, or?
Yeah, so born in Germany. My dad was in the Army, but you know, Joe Wright on the Keller Williams team, Kim Brownlee, just a little shout out. But my dad is a realtor now, and he was in Germany in the Army, and that's why I was born over there. And then when I was 2, we moved back here, and you know, my family has been in Brandon since, you know, I think the 60s. So my wife grew up out here. Our families knew each other. So, you know, I'm a Brandonite through and through.
There you go. You mentioned wife and a daughter, right? So how long have you and your wife been married for?
Man, so my wife and I have only been married for about 3 and some odd years now. 3 years and a few months. But we met in the 4th grade. So
get out of here.
Probably about 20 years ago now, I'd say. We went to elementary school together, went to different middle schools, went to the same high school.
Sure.
By high school, we were very different, so we didn't converse not much.
Not so much.
Say it, not much, but I mean not at all. She was a cheerleader and I was in the band, you know, so there's all those social status quos that I didn't fit in at the time. But
totally.
Hey, for all of those band nerds out there, trust me, you will win in the end. Okay? I got my cheerleader.
See, that's why you see, like, you all may think you're not cool now, walking, you know, through the field. What instrument did you play?
The trumpet, man.
The trumpet. Oh, man, see? Think about the trumpet, people. Like, later on down the road, that jazz trumpet is going to totally swoon so many people.
That's right.
You've been married now for, you said, a little 3.5 years or so?
Yep,
right?
we have a 2-year-old daughter named Sophie. Sophia, yeah, she's cool. She's just a cool kid. She doesn't really give us any problems. She talks, she's potty trained already. I mean, we've just been blessed with that little girl. She's definitely made us think about if we should ever have another one, because it's not going to be that easy the next time.
So can you recollect your earliest childhood memory?
Oh, yeah. Actually, I think about that all the time. As crazy as that is, yeah. So I think like that, right? I'm like, man, what was the first time I remember having fear, right? The first time I remember being scared. The first time I remember, you know, accomplishing something. I think some of my first memories are gonna go back to when we lived in Florida the first time. So my family moved to Florida, and then when I was like 5, they moved to Georgia until I was 7, and they moved back to Florida. We couldn't figure it out. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's all good.
So my earliest memories would have been when I was an only child, because I have 2 sisters and a brother now. And I was learning how to ride my bike. And we had this big hill in the backyard that all the big kids would zoom their bike and go over this dirt hill.
Right.
I remember I was probably, you know, 4 or 5. That's all I wanted to do. Mom, teach me how to ride a bike so I can go over the thing. And she was just telling the story the other day about how I learned how to ride a bike so quickly. I was just so determined that they never got to have the moment of walking with me holding the bike. They said they took the training wheels off, and I was like, peace. Yeah, I was out. And so they said they never got to do that. But so that would probably be my earliest memory.
Your earliest
memory? Asked me that. I remember when the first Nintendo, right? Not the Super Nintendo, the first one where you had to blow on the games and stick it in there and pound the top, and then maybe you got to play Mario if it came on, right? And so I remember that was so much work sometimes. I'd be like, screw this, I'm just going outside. You know, I'd rather go outside.
I'm grabbing the Huffy.
The N64 was a game changer though. Okay. N64 definitely kept me inside a little bit more, but never as much as like Fortnite has for these kids today.
Oh God, no.
Where they learn the dances, and I'm like, man, learn your freaking multiplication.
Yeah. So
I'm telling you, I think that Fortnite should, in the music of the background, do history lessons, and it'd be like a subliminal teaching. Like, that's where kids are spending all their time. Shout out to Fortnite. If you want my idea, hit me up.
Did you ever do Enterprise Village as a kid?
Yeah, man. So I got to be in the store. I was a cashier with the fake money, whatever that they use. And I remember that even to today, when I was working at a bank, so, you know, after I got out of the military, I got into car sales, right? And I know this is kind of a random segue, but I'll get back to it.
No, that's cool.
I got into car sales because I said, how can I provide the most for my family? Because the job that I took right out of the Navy, I was making $14 an hour. Now, when I went into the Navy, I was making $5.25 an hour. So you come out and you think, oh, $14 an hour, and you haven't been hourly in a long time. I thought 14 was a lot of money.
Yeah.
I get my first paycheck and I was like, where the heck is my money at? Like, let me do the math again, because clearly I was wrong. So I got into car sales, and I was actually really good at it. I was surprisingly good at it. I enjoyed it a lot. You know, I set a lot of records in the store I was at, and I got to meet a ton of people. And I realized this is where I want to be, is in a sales platform. But car sales wasn't it. I couldn't imagine pinnacling my career. Is that a word? Pinnacle. The pinnacle of my career being a used car salesman. I think that would be a better way to put it. For all those kids out there watching, that's why reading is important.
Not Fortnite.
Yeah, not Fortnite. So yeah, I wanted to provide as much as I could, and so I got into car sales, and man, it was a lot of work, but it was my first introduction to sales, right? Telling these people what is important to you, right? Because to me, that's what you know, as a consumer, that's how I pick my salespeople. You know, is not about what I'm going to do for them or what I'm bringing to them or anything like that. It's who gets down to what's important to me the fastest, you know. And it was the same thing when I moved out of car sales and into bank sales, and I got into banking, and I was a relationship manager, and it was a difficult job. That was like, I mean, it just wasn't for me.
Right.
For all the bankers out there, I hope you love your job, and I'm happy for you. It wasn't my personality. Being 9 to 5 chained to a desk is not my personality. I have way too much energy for that. I got in too much trouble in school for that, right? I couldn't sit down. I'm like, all right, here's my homework. Let me go. Like, we just go somewhere else. Can I go back to PE? Like, that was always what I wanted to do. And it was the same thing at the bank. I was like, oh my gosh, I got to get off this desk. I got to walk. And I was super busy. I was at the Bank of America on 56th Street and Temple Terrace, and there was so many people coming in all the time, and it was hard, you know, because I wanted to build a relationship, you know, but I never really could, because I was always just so busy with the people coming in.
Right, and it was so quick, in and out.
Boom, you know, 30 minutes, that's what we had. If you needed to open an account, if you need a mortgage, if you need a credit card, it does not matter. I got 30 minutes and you got to get out the door. So it was very much like that, and so I quickly became unhappy in it, right? Like, I wasn't comfortable. I said I knew I needed the bank on my resume, because my resume just wasn't very corporate, you know what I mean? And so then the job came open with Fidelity, and I saw it, and I knew nothing about title. Nothing. I said, I don't know what a title company does. I don't know what it is. I said, I know they work with realtors, and my dad's a realtor. So I called my dad. I'm like, hey, help me out, man. Is there any way you know anybody, whatever? And so we were able to get me in touch with the right people, and I submitted my resume, and it took a long time and a lot of follow-up, but I got the job, and I've been with Fidelity since July, and I mean, I've been having fun. I've been working hard, meeting a lot of people, and cultivating those real relationships, the ones that last longer, the ones that, you know, you call me again when you need something. Car sales, what am I going to see in 6 years when you need another car?
Right.
You know, so and so to me, this was what I liked, because I get a daily relationship. If you need something, I can contact you every day. You know, you can contact me every day. I'm always on my phone, which I got from car sales. You know, car sales, I'm always picking up my phone. You need a car, I got you. You know, I got an Apple. This is gonna sound crazy. I got an Apple Watch, whatever they call the iWatch or whatever. The waterproof one when it came out, so that when I went to the water park with my family, if you called me, I could send you a text saying I would call you back in a little bit from my phone in the lazy river, because you had to be on your phone. If you're not present, you're irrelevant. You know, and so I learned that, and so I, you know, part of that I carry with me. You know, if you need me, I'm gonna be there for you. You know, now if it comes down to my family, if I have to be there for my family first, that's always gonna come first, and I think it's fair that you recognize that. But
naturally,
other than that, I mean, if you need me, I'm there. And so, you know, that's what I bring with me, and that's what comes from my military time, right? Having everybody's back. If you need, you know, if one of your shipmates is what we call them, you know, if they need you, you're there. You just back them up. I remember bailing people out of jail. You know what I mean? I got one of my sailors out of jail at like 3 in the morning in Hawaii.
I was gonna say that wasn't me, was it?
No, wasn't him. It wasn't him.
Just, past life, all right, judgment-free zone. Just saying,
Yeah. But, we all go through our lives, and we all have our own vices, and we deal with them in our own ways. And to me, it's not really about it. That kid that I bailed out of jail ended up going out and making rank twice, and is still in, and has a fantastic career today because he took this lesson and he was like, okay, got it. Like, I don't want to do that again. I want to be successful. Let me fix it. And that, to me, is where you separate yourself. Is what you do with the lesson.
Yeah, and it really, it does come down to a sense of taking something transactional and turning it more into relationship.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I put in my signature line. Transactions over, or relationships over transactions.
Yeah.
That's how it always should be.
Absolutely.
It's all about what's motivating somebody. You know what I mean? And to me, the intrinsic motivation, knowing what's important and things like that. One of the people told me about this when I was in bank sales. I always got to talk to people, and I tried to talk to them at a deeper level. Yeah. So that we could really, figure each other out, and I could really get to know this person and find out what value I could bring. Right? There's a book called The Go-Giver. And it's a great book. It's an old book. If you've never read it, it's very cheap on Amazon. I tell you what, if you want it, he'll put a link in my profile. You let me know, I'll send it to you. But it's a great book that talks about your real value is, how much you give out and how little you take back. Right? The surplus of giving is where your value is and how much you're worth. And I think that's so important because as you go through life, the more value you can bring to other people, the more that is going to circle back around to you. And I think that we absolutely do that in our job. When I told you about everything I had going on, you were instantly, hey, come on, let's get on the show, let's do this together. Yeah. Because you wanted to help me out. You wanted to help get me out to your followers and things like that. And, and that's why I like this guy. So you need a mortgage, this is the guy right here.
I try, but and it really is one of those things when you see people who are very talented and who have the drive and naturally a good heart that genuinely want to help people, you want to help them. So
because you recognize yourself, it's mirroring. You're comfortable with, as soon as you find somebody that's driven the same way you're driven, and who's internally driven by the same factors that are internally driving you, you just have a natural bond. You want them to succeed as badly as you want to succeed yourself. And if you surround yourself with people like that, the old saying is you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? That's why I want to start spending some more time with this guy and try to raise my average a little bit. But it's so true, So if you're going through anything in life, take a look at who you're spending your time with. If you're the most successful in your group, you got a problem.
Yep. So, any advice for people who are trying to break into this industry? I know you may not have a lot, going on with the real estate or the mortgage side, but clearly, jumping into the business, I'm pretty sure you've talked to a lot of people, that have expressed, the struggles that they've had and the successes that they've had.
Getting into this industry, as far as title goes, I don't even know how you get into this industry. Everybody else that's in this job that does what I do in different territories has been in it for 25 years. So every single person that I have met has been doing this for over 20 years. And so to me, I don't know how you get in it, but I can tell you to be successful, as a real estate agent, if there's any real estate agents out there looking for, where to hang their hat, which is a really important decision in your career, where you're going to hang your hat, look at who's going to do for you as a new agent. It's very important when you're picking your team, who's going to help you be the most successful the fastest, right? Everybody worries about splits, everybody worries about all these things, but to me it's who's going to take what I want to make. If I say I want to make 100 grand this year in real estate, and teach me that. That's what I want. I want to be taught how to use the tools and resources, and that's what you need to look for when you're picking your team. And when you're picking your title company, it needs to be who's there, who's readily available, who can help me better my business. And so if you've got a title representation right now that's not doing anything for you, you should really rethink that relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. So, here you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It really doesn't get more real than this. And what I really appreciate, one of the things, Josh, is not just the excitement that you bring to everything, but just the true passion, and you can literally feel it as you talk. It permeates, you
Thanks,
know, and it's
man.
like very like addictive, very gravitational.
Thank you.
You know, so for everyone that's jumping into title or needs title, hit Josh up, all right, and you know, and his team, they're phenomenal. I know that I have some stuff coming through the pipeline that's going to be filtering through you guys. So
Thank you, man.
I'm excited about it.
Cool.
You know, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. So until then, we'll see you in the next episode. Josh, I really appreciate it.
Thanks, brother. Thank you.
Yeah.
And thanks for watching.
Yep. And we'll see you on the next episode.
Yeah, man.